All right, so in this part of the lesson, I'm going to show you exactly how to do the research and create your outline using the template that we're going to walk through right now. So first off, to download and edit this template, just click File, make a copy, download, then you'll have it on your computer and you can edit this. So this is the outline that we're going to be using for ordering our book. And so we have a message to the writer. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the time to work on this project with me. I want to ensure I get the book back the way I am looking for, so I have a very detailed outline for you to follow, which I hope makes your job a lot easier. Remember, we want their job to be simply doing a bit of research and writing the book. That's the key thing, writing the book. We don't want them thinking, oh, what has to go in the book? What's this topic really all about? And all of that. We're going to do that part of the work for them to make their job as easy as possible, which is writing the book. Quality is something that I cannot afford to slip, so I'm going to be as detailed as possible so you know exactly what I'm looking to get accomplished here, and precisely what I want in the book so you can focus on writing the best content you can. I would appreciate it if you give this project your absolute best so we can limit the number of revisions necessary. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. In the attached outline, you're going to find some general information about this book and who it's for, along with a detailed chapter-by-chapter outline on what I'd like inside each one. So we're actually going to be showing them exactly what we want in every single chapter and what key points we want to have in each one. There's 3 things I'd like you to keep in mind at all times while writing this book: content, structure, and engagement. Content, always on topic, accurate, backed by research, focused, and to the point. No fluff, just to boost word count. Structure, everything should flow and should be easy for the reader to follow. I've laid out the type of structure I'd like to have in the chapter-by-chapter outline. And engagement, using stories to explain points, using language the reader would use speaking about the topic is key. Once again, if you have any questions or you'd like more clarification, reach out to me. Look forward to reading this book. Right, then we're going to fill out the information about the book, right? Target audience, main problem, solution to the problem, and then the outline. So the structure of the book, we're using this sequential format here. All right, so chapter 1, step 1, chapter 2, step 2. That's what we covered in the previous lesson. And then the introduction. So the most important part of this book is the introduction. This sets the tone for the rest of the book, captures the reader attention right from the first page. I've included a step-by-step outline for the introduction for you. This covers the 8 main things that a powerful introduction should have in it. Once you've completed the introduction, can you please message me on the Urban Writers order management platform so I can check over this very important part. Now this is key because we don't want them just to go ahead, start writing the book and not doing it the way that we want. So we are working in part with them. That's one of the reasons we use the Urban Writers, is they're going to be messaging you and you're going to be able to go alongside them, so to speak, so you can see exactly the process that the progress that they're making with your book. So you can make any changes along the way to ensure you get the book the way you want. So you should aim to approach the introduction with the following in mind. Understand who is your ideal target customer and what words they use to describe the problem you're looking to solve for them in their own language. Being able to speak the same language as the reader is vital in building a trusting relationship with them in the beginning so they can continue to read the rest of the book. Create a story about the author to connect, or for the reader to connect with. Below, I've provided some details to help you with this, but I want to have a short personal story that helps the reader relate more to the author with their problem they want to overcome. And the introduction must always aim to cover what the problem is, a brief summary of the solution I'm covering in the book, and who the book is for and who the book is not for. So here's the structure for the introduction. This is what we covered in the previous lesson, right? The 8 main pillars that make a powerful introduction. And I'm going to show you, we're actually just going to pull that from the information or from the research that we've been doing earlier, and we'll be entering it right in here. So here's the chapter-by-chapter outline. So chapter 1, so the chapter title, using quotes or a story to capture the reader's attention. Now remember, everything that you're going to be seeing here this is the outline you want to follow, but like using quotes or a story, optional. Right? You'll make that call based on what you think should be in your book. Key points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you want 5, and then the summary, action step, or key takeaway. What the reader can do to get the most from what they just learned. And that's typically the layout of every single chapter. Now, like I said, it'll change based on your niche, the type of book you want, so you can make the adjustments as you see fit. But this is the type of outline you want to be following for your book. So basically, you're going to be filling out everything in the red part, and then we have the conclusion. The way the reader leaves the book is just as important as the way they start it. Conclusion should be broken down into 4 points. The hook, for back to a particular story or part of the book to regain the reader's attention. Restate the book's thesis. Simple. People like repetition, and it helps them remember what the main point of this book is. Summarize the chapter. Reinforcing some key points is always helpful. The more they can remember about the book, the more likely they are to use the information and refer to it and refer it to other people. Let them know what was the biggest thing you wanted them to take away from the book, and then a call to action, what they should do next, what they should do now that will help them get the most from reading the book. Please be direct. And this is also where you can tell them to make sure, hey, the reader downloads this additional resource or whatever the case is to, once again, get the reader's email address from them. In the bibliography, if you do cite something from other books or claims that need to be backed up, please make sure you list them here and use the APA format. And then there's a format generator right there. And that's the outline. And so I'll show you mine that I've filled out here. And so you see right here, identify the problem you're solving. So these I just took from that previous lesson I did where I went and I came up with these. I just thought about who my customer was, right? Present the solution. Take back your night. Have a baby who goes to sleep on time, stays asleep for the night. I just came up with this. You can spend more time, come up with something a lot better for your particular book. But that's it. It gives the writer something to work with, right? Making it as easy as possible. And then based on some of the research, and I'll show you where we're going to do the research in a second, right? Understanding what sleep really is, right? Now, I might actually change this to the 7 myths about sleep training. Kind of hook the reader with that, with that right in the beginning. Change up these, but types of sleep cycles. What are good sleeping habits? Co-sleeping, right? These are all things that I found out from doing the research. Chapter 2, how babies sleep. This lesson should piggyback on chapter 1. What their sleep looks like, what bad sleeping means, teaching the baby to sleep. The 007 sleeping tools, right? Before I just had, sleeping tools, but hey, the 007, right? The James Bond sleeping tools. Something exciting, because remember these chapter titles, they also are used to sell the book. You just keep going. So where do we do the research? So let's take a look at that. Okay, so the very first thing we want to do is figure out what type of book do we want to create. So we know the topic, we know all of that, but what angle do we want to play this on? And to do this, we're going to look at what's been selling well on Amazon. And I'm going to show you where we can kind of generate some ideas, because there's a lot of different ways that we can have this book written, right? So, solve your child's sleep problems. Okay, healthy sleeping habits. So it's a book about sleeping habits, I'm guessing. Step-by-step program for a good night's sleep. Never too late to sleep train, the low-stress way to high-quality sleep for babies, kids, and parents. I like that title. How to Train Your Dragon. Puppy, good God. Happiest baby guide to great sleep. Simple solutions for kids from birth to 5 years. Time for bed. Healthy sleep training from birth to 5. How to teach your baby to fall asleep alone. Sleep training for babies and toddlers. All gentle and less gentle techniques thoroughly covered. When and specifically how to implement each technique so both of you can get a better and longer sleep. That is definitely a self-published book. Okay, so what I'm looking at, I'm just trying to look at patterns. Nothing really stands out, but there's a couple different resources that we can use to generate some ideas. So one is this idea generator. So there's going to be a link down in the description of this video. So you're going to type in what your subject is, sleep training your baby, and click on generate idea. And what it's going to do, it's going to start bringing up ideas. Now, some of these ideas are complete nonsense, but the point is, by looking through them, you can start to think of what direction do you want to take your book in. So 5 least favorite sleep training your baby. See, it doesn't even make sense, right? The five least favorite methods for sleep training your baby might, something like that would be. Let's just click on see another title. Where sleep training your baby is headed in the next 5 years makes no sense. Why billionaires will never invest in this. Okay. Why sleep training your babies are killing you, right? So obviously we're not using that, but maybe it's going on a more dramatic, right? More dramatic type of book title. 19 unexpected ways sleep training your babies can give you, obviously not better hair, but, a better sleep. Something like that. It's just designed to come up with ideas. The Complete Beginner's Guide to Sleep Training Your Babies. That's a really basic and common title, but I don't think we saw any titles like that in this particular niche, so that actually might work. Another one that we can use is this one. This has a couple different variations of what you can do. So it has numbered lists, it has how-to, explanatory, strong, controversial, fun, playful, and DIY, right? So, here you enter the topic, and you can fill out all of this. I just didn't bother. But it's like, the list headline, 10 ways to sleep train. If we switch it to how-to, it's like how to sleep train. And you can just play around with this to see what type of ideas these come up with as well. Let's start sleep training your baby. Right? You don't need to work a long hours to sleep train your baby. Something like that. So just playing around with it. Like I said, most of these are just designed. This is where I come up with crazy titles for my books. But then also you want to think, if you're going to go on like a book that's going to have the 7 best ways to sleep train your baby, right? Then your book is going to be based around those 7 ways. So now we're going to have to start researching what are the top ways to sleep train your baby. What are the 7 best methods being used? And that is now, as we go into Google, right? 7 best sleep training, right? Okay. And here, 6. I try to find a 7th because odd numbers sell better than even numbers. But so here's where I'm going to start to do my research, right? So we're going to start looking at these, reading this, what's the right age for sleep training. And this is where you're going to start just doing all the research, putting together the foundation of your book. So the places, known as the Ferber method, CIO. So right there, that's language that sleep training uses. CIO. So your book, you want to make sure you're talking about the CIO method, the cry it out method, right? That's something even I never knew. We didn't sleep train our kids. Pick up, pat down, and shush pat. Okay. So Google is the top spot I use for doing book research, right? If I just remove the 7 best sleep training, right? Sleep training science. Take a look at that one, sleep training your baby, methods, tips, and when to try. And we're just going to start looking at the websites and start collecting information and putting together the book, right? Another thing that we're going to do, a lot of the customer research you were doing beforehand is going to start spilling over. You're going to go to Amazon. We're going to take a look. This is perfect. 3,500 reviews. And we're going to start piling in and taking a look at a lot of these negative reviews. And some of the positive ones. But some of the negative ones can tell us a ton, right? Do not recommend. So let's see why this person hated. The worst parenting purchase to date. It's a little dramatic. Ashley. I'm assuming those people purchasing this would be in the same boat as we were. Baby isn't sleeping. Seems really good, actually. Parents are losing their minds. This book rambles on about the importance of sleep, which we're all aware of, and is the reason we're buying books to help us, and does so in ways that makes you feel like a failure as a parent. That is absolutely key, right? We don't want in our books, and this is key or the thing that parents hate is being told how to parent their kid, right? Or being called a failure as a parent or a mom or his dad. So we do not want our book to be coming across that way. Now, somebody will take that no matter what, because that's just how society is, but things to keep in mind. I had serious anxiety. I was going to end up the class bully and a total problem child because for 4 months I wasn't sleeping through the night. The author seems to think that there's only one way in the world that works to get babies to sleep. It's extinction. Lock them in a room alone all night and don't go in until the morning, regardless of how hard they cry. That may work for some. It doesn't work for all, and there's no way I could do that with my baby. He mentions other strategies, but is quick to bash them. He manipulates research. Okay, so one, she's a little biased based on reading between the lines of what this person is. But This review tells us a lot, and we need to take people into account, like Ashley, as we're doing the research and, coming across the book. Maybe not bashing the ideas, right? This author clearly is successful and it works for Dr. Mark, the method that he's talking about. It's not going to work for everybody, but it works for him, and that's why he wrote a book about it, right? So we just want to take those things into account. Useful, but advice can be summed up in 2 pages. No need for an entire book, right? Maybe there's a bit of fluff in there. I don't know. We got to, take a look at that. If you're into, right? Cry it out. We now know the language. Having an author speak to you like a creep bully, this book is for you. All right. So this is where you're going to start doing all the research and finding out what people are liking, what they're not liking. Another great place you're going to do is YouTube. Once again. Okay, how to sleep train your baby.
When my wife Amy's water broke.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of the comments here. Okay. All right, so, but reading the comments of different videos to learn more about what people are liking, not liking, what's working, what's not working, how to start sleep training, probably a really good one.
Hey mamas, sleep is crucial for you, your partner, and your baby, and without...
And you see how she did that, right? Hey mamas? Because this is where the research comes into place, like I've been saying. It is probably more of a female-dominated niche, right? However, look at the 2 videos we just did, one male, one female. More research is needed to figure out which direction to go. Do a video on teething. So right there, right? Sleep training and teething. Sleep training and like those type of issues. Right, so these are just gold, right? You can just learn so much. These are the people you want buying your book, and they're giving you so much feedback right there on this person's video. So you'd watch the video and see what they're saying. Even check out Bridget's channel to see exactly what she's all about. Good, she's super active, so we'd want to, maybe she has a playlist on sleep training. Pregnancy, postpartum, I'm not saying it, so she doesn't. Not the end of the world, though. We just keep doing our YouTube searches. I got my baby to sleep through the night. So much stuff here on YouTube to see exactly the type of people who you want reading your books, buying your books, what they're saying. So Google, YouTube, and then Facebook groups once again. We talked about that earlier when we were talking about customer research. It's doing the same thing. Joining the groups and, seeing what the discussion is. It's not about trying to promote your book or anything like that. Right now, we're doing the research. Because if you have the best book available, right, promotion will come easy. All right, so that does it for this lesson. Make sure you check the resources in the description. And if you have any questions on this, of course, just go into the support group and ask away.